I never really had a mother. And I think me and my mother only reconnected really in our adulthood. When I repeated her mistake, I knew I knew that very well. Right? But what did I do? I fell pregnant. And I don't even know how to receive help. I don't know how to receive compliments. I don't know how to receive gifts.
Let me introduce to you the new kid on the block. Malam is a new skincare range that recently launched. It is for face and for body. We deal with hyperpigmentation, anti-aging, wrinkles, natural glow. We also deal with dark inner areas. We target dark inner thighs, dark armpits, dark neck, dark elbows, dark knees, you name it. We also have a shaving combo. This shaving combo deals with ingrowns and shaving bumps. Both men and women can use this good quality product shaving range. We've got good actives in our product from glycolic acid, hyaluronic acid, kojic acid, and many more. You can contact us on the WhatsApp number that is popping on the screen, or you can reach out to us on all our social media platforms. We are here for all your skin needs. Hi everyone, welcome to O Narrative Podcast by myself, Promise Makunyane. This podcast is about marriage and family dynamics. You know, if you'd like to be a guest on our podcast, you need to write to us on the email address that is popping on the screen. Do not forget to write your number, preferably your WhatsApp number, so that we can contact you once we vet your story. Please remember or be reminded that we do have a sister podcast on the very same channel. It's called The Working Wife, The Working Woman Podcast. And that podcast is really about women working. Women inspiring each other to do it for themselves. I always say it's good to have a man do stuff for you, but it's much more better if you can also do stuff for yourself, Dolly. So that one is just about women, you know, and it airs on Sundays at 6 p.m. And this one that you're watching, it airs on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. And today, I do have a very familiar face on this channel. If you guys have watched her episode, you can see you know her. You know her. We're on the blue couch on the other podcast. Today, she is this side. Can you malamule?
Yes.
Malamule.
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 Charger.
Eish, malamule. I think I don't forget because I remember you spoke about people saying malamulele. So now I already know it's not malamulele, it's malamule.
Take out the last part.
Yeah.
And you are. How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Are
you refreshed after your birthday?
I am refreshed. The best trip of my life.
Yeah.
And in between I was having massages, so I'm not tired. And I went Gamma 2000, Lima 2000. We were just partying every single day, you know. So I had a spot. But over and above, I'm content.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And how are you?
That's amazing. I'm great. I'm surrendered. Ooh. I'm surrendered.
What does that look like?
It looks like stopping the fighting, the going around, trying to fight your purpose and just living in it and allowing things to just flow as they should. Sure. I am wholly surrendered. You were complaining earlier about gaining weight.
Sure, guys. You know, I'm talking to her and I'm like, the face is round, is like. Yeah.
It's when you live. It's when you live in your purpose and you're truly and fully surrendered. I do need to go back to the gym, but I'm surrendered.
P.S.
Yeah, P.S.
Yeah,
I must go to the gym. Yeah.
Do you want to tell my people, those that have not watched that podcast yet? We're gonna put it here.
Yeah.
She's also a podcaster, by the way, but you'll tell people about that as well. Just introduce yourself. Tell us what you do.
Okay. So as you mentioned, my name is Khanyisa M. I am a lot of things, but primarily from a career perspective, I am a legacy coach. I'll tell you a bit more about that. Yeah. I am a legacy coach. I'm a podcaster. My podcast is The Legacy Collective with Khanyisa on YouTube and Spotify. And I also run foundations on behalf of corporates, families and individuals. So we help people to give back to communities and help them to save on tax and as well as build their brands and build their stakeholdership in communities. So that's what I do. As a legacy coach, I help people to I always say, look at their lives from a 360 degrees and allow them to see their lives from a spiritual perspective, psychological, emotional, financial, family dynamics, and allow them to then go and find the help that they're looking for in whatever that they need to be doing. And with podcasting, the Legacy Collective with Khanyisa is a platform where we speak about, heal from, and transform people's legacies. So we speak about things that people inherited from the legacies of their parents, their great parents, the legacies that they're living out and are going to live out to their children and to the next generation. Yeah, so in a nutshell, that's what I do.
So you do a lot of things.
I do a lot of things, and I'm grateful that they're aligned.
Yeah.
And they always just collude with each other and find purpose and alignment. From a personal level, I am a firstborn daughter.
Something that we're going to talk greatly about today.
Yeah, I'm a firstborn daughter, and I am a wife and a bereaved mother of a then 7-year-old daughter that I lost about 7 years ago. And yeah, so that's who I am. I'm a sister, I'm a confidant, I am a colleague, and that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm not going to go more about the work that you do, and people must go to that episode because you speak greatly about what you do.
Yes.
You speak about you being a life coach, and you helping people spiritually, psychologically.
Yeah.
When we speak about the spiritual side of a person, is it going to be religion? What does that mean? What does that entail? If I'm going to go deep into the spiritual side of me.
Okay, so I'm a Christian. And most of the principles that I use are Christian principles, right? But what I have found to do is to dig a little deeper than what we normally just want to brush off as most Christians, right? So we talk about the pillars that make you who you are. And when we go into the conversation about firstborn daughters, I'll go a bit into that. But I help people understand where they come from spiritually. Most of us are working with certain altars at the moment, and there are certain altars that were configured on our behalf as we grow. Most of us are currently configuring altars for our children, and I help people to understand what that means. When you give at church, you are creating and refurbishing an altar. Wherever you came from, whoever you were born from, configured an altar for you. Right. And that's another thing, another conversation we were having the other day with firstborn daughters is that some of us, our parents struggled to have us and they went somewhere to look for a child. There is an altar you belong to. And if you have not taken time to dismantle that, you will have patterns in your life that show themselves and find expression from that.
Sure.
Some of us, our parents didn't want us and they tried to abort us. That is an altar that is speaking. Because some people have an appointment with death that was appointed in 1989 with your mother trying to abort you. And today it's the abortive spirit is still speaking in your life. So I do that work that is very unfamiliar, and a lot of Christians don't want to go that deep. We want to just brush off things and say, oh, there's grace.
God has washed us, what has saved us.
Which is true, by the way.
Yeah.
And one of the things I like doing is saying, we're not saying the blood did not wash away the sins. We are not saying the work of the cross is not enough. That's not what we're saying. There's a reason why there's something called the courts of heaven, as an example. The devil is legalistic in nature. There are things that the devil, there's a scripture in Revelations that says the devil is the accuser of men, right? The accuser of brethren. Why does the devil accuse people? Because he's got legal documents that he goes into the courts of heaven to accuse people with. And we are quiet as people who've got the milatu ya rena, milatu of our forefathers, milatu ya batu, milatu of even of the nation. As black women, rena le milatu. As black people, rena le milatu. As South Africans, as the continent, rena le milatu. And those documents are somewhere in the courts of heaven speaking against us. So some people are sitting in warfare while they should actually be going to the courts of heaven and saying, okay, here's a legal document that I see. I am calling my advocate, which is Jesus and his blood. I am calling my witness, which is the Holy Spirit, to say, this is what the devil is saying about me. ke a dumela. This is what my father did. This is what my forefathers did. It's okay. I agree. This is what I'm pleading the blood of Jesus to speak a different language for me. Yeah. So people think that when we are saying there are altars and an end, they think it's because we don't believe in the work of the cross or we don't believe that there's grace. Nah. So it goes deeper than that. Yes. And that's why I do the work of legacy, because that altar is a legacy.
Sure.
Whatever altar I'm building right now, wherever I go to church, to wherever, I am building a legacy for the next generation to either fall back on or to be tormented by.
Before you even go deep, because now we are deep now,
Yeah.
let's come back. You said you're a firstborn daughter.
Yes.
Tell me about the dynamic of being, how you grew up.
Yeah. So,
and the family dynamic.
So my family dynamic is an interesting one. I'm a firstborn daughter of my mother and my father, and they're married, still are. I have 2 siblings, my brother and my youngest sister, and I grew up in an environment where my mother was at school. My father went to school and came back, I think, at a very early age.
Okay.
And I was raised by my grandmother and my grandfather. I was always their handbag. My grandmother always said, my paternal grandfather. Actually, I never really stayed with my maternal grandparents.
Okay.
I stayed with my paternal grandparents for the longest time. And that went on for some time. I was my grandmother's paper handbag. And then sometime my mother came back to live with us. I actually always say that I never lived with my mother for more than a year, my whole life. Because I think by the time I was 12, she came back from where she was working far away. And by that time, I could not really understand when they say this person came maga, what does it really mean? Because I've never really known her as my mother. Right. And then I went to boarding school.
But did you know your grandmother's your mother, or you knew your grandmother's my grandmother, but you never had a understanding of a mother?
I knew that my grandmother's my grandmother. Okay. Right. And I knew that she was the mother to this one who's my father. But I always say that now I thought when they say Papa, which is my father, I thought that's his name. It dawned upon me much later, Papa means this one is my dad.
Yeah.
Because actually in my mind, we were just all a bunch of siblings in the house, right? And so that's something that a lot of firstborn daughters are struggling with on different angles and levels, right? And mine, I didn't know that it's a thing until I started doing the work I'm doing and went on my own healing journey. So it was a good childhood. I wouldn't say that I didn't grow up poor. I didn't grow up really longing for a mother. My grandmother was great, but I never really had a mother. And I think me and my mother only reconnected really in our adulthood when I repeated her mistake and had a child at a young age. And that's when she and I started to have a relationship to also understand from my side, I see you. Yeah. And also, I am now perpetuating what you did to me, to my daughter. And also, it helped me to get to an understanding, she was just a girl. She was just a girl who went to university trying to get a good life for herself, just like I did. And so I give her so much grace now. I give her so much grace. Yeah. And it's one of the things that I wish mothers understood about their firstborn daughters is that we've seen enough of life to be able to give them grace. And if they can just take that grace and tell the truth. Those mothers that are being asked, and the mother would rather roll on the floor. Than tell the truth. You'll actually find that your daughter understands. The mistake that you think is so big, it can't be unfolded, and it's not that big. Your daughter has done worse. Yeah. And so she now understands what you have done. And if you just tell her the truth, you will help her not to perpetuate even bigger and bigger mistakes than you have done. Yeah.
What do you think is the issue for Black parents, especially Black mothers, not to come clean? Like just to speak, especially when we are old now. I'm married, my mom is married. What do you think the issue is? Why don't they want to speak?
I think there are various issues. And I found that it's intergenerational. Right now, we are a generation that speaks.
Yeah.
Our parents are not. We're in the information age. Someone is going to hear what we're talking about for the first time, and that's because it's the information age. And they're going to Google it and research it more, and they're going to find it. Our parents grew up in an environment where it was a harsh environment. No one speaks about things. Bari batho ba hwela teng. Things like that. Men are now speaking about things. Men are now crying. And in the past, it was not the case.
Yeah.
So I think it's just a difference in generations. And I am glad that we are a generation that is healing and a generation that is speaking. And I hope that that's going to allow us to speak to our own children. Yeah, because our parents, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you spoke about your daughter.
Yeah.
I don't want us to speak about it here.
Yeah.
I still want to send people to the other podcast.
yeah.
Yeah. So guys, you're gonna see a thumbnail. Go to the other podcast, and you're going to hear about the unfortunate situation of losing your daughter.
Yeah.
You know, she was 7 when you lost her.
Yes.
Now we move into the firstborn daughter movement that you have started. Is that a movement or is it a community? How did it start?
That one, eh?
It's there on TikTok. Today when I was checking, I'm like,
it's a revolution.
It's a revolution.
Because it's a national crisis.
yeah.
Firstborn daughters are peculiar human beings that have been overlooked for a very long time. Our legacy is one of blood and tears. And I'm hoping that with this movement that we've started, we as firstborn daughters start to understand ourselves, understand our wounds and heal from them, and really start operating from a place of just purer, better and identity, make better decisions, understand the core of our decisions, and then act better and run the world. Because we're actually called to run the world. We are capable of running the world. In fact, being a firstborn daughter is an office. It's a calling. You can't act like you are a layman, for lack of a better word, when you have broken the matrix and the womb of your mother. You were the one that, and it's so multi-layered, because we're the ones that were not wanted, that came by mistake, but we were ordered by the heavens for our families. They say that when God wants to bring rest in a family, he sends a firstborn daughter. But the irony is that we as firstborn daughters don't have rest. We are plagued. We are plagued by wounds. Major wounds of firstborn daughters and childhood traumas. We are plagued by abandonment, rejection, guilt. You will see it even on TikTok. Firstborn daughters saying we are tired. We just want to rest. Because we are the rest of our families, we don't find rest ourselves. And what I'm hoping to do with that movement is to allow firstborn daughters to find rest. And once we find rest and identity, we can operate in our office because we've been called. And you will see it silently even in the TV shows. I was just thinking about it the other day that if we understood what Mkabai is to a Shaka.
Is it
Shaka Ilembe?
Oh, no.
The role is played by Thandeka Don King.
Okay.
And she's the Rahadi of Shaka.
Okay.
The role she played in making sure that Shaka is king is an important role that I hope that we can lay it down even on ourselves to see the role we are playing in families and in nations as Burahadi, ourselves as firstborn daughters. I was looking at Connie Ferguson's Kings of Joburg. That's a firstborn daughter role. That a kind of woman that can take on territories like that, but also a kind of woman that makes a spiritual contracts and covenants with the gods of her bloodline. Is a firstborn daughter. By the time you guys come, we have already absorbed that contract and it's plaguing us. But we have the identity and the authority to break bloodline curses. And so that's why it's the office of the firstborn daughter is so heavy. It's so heavy. It's bringing divorce left, right, and center. And actually, we'll go into the retreat I hosted.
Yes,
it was so sad to see in our questionnaire that a large percentage of the women that were there were either single, divorced, and married ones were a fraction. And you know what was funny? The married ones kept asking if they can come with their husbands. It was a
I
great.
can see that.
It's a great revelation. It was a great revelation for me.
can see
yeah,
that. Yeah.
Because
Sure.
relational patterns, Jareda, oh, they're horrible. They're horrible. They're your
Remade.
so remade. They're horrible because one, we choose people that are not equipped to carry us.
Yeah.
We are a phenomenon as firstborn daughters. And we choose men before we understand our role in our office.
Sure.
And we just go for anyone who says, I love you, and you love them back, and then they're your husband. And then they come and they say, Mara, when I tell.
Yes. You're stubborn.
Stubborn. Umunna.
Ooh.
I don't know how many times.
Did you hear that?
I've heard
You
women
wear the
saying,
pants.
Munnaka or I wear the pants.
Yeah.
Munnaka or ke a tella, munnaka or ke stubborn. And you know, the thing is, I cannot, it's my office. It's my office.
And you will sit and want to question, where am I doing? Like,
Ke tell like ring. Like, tell like ring. Eh, why ke taster like a man? Why munno a feel gore unyako ya somewhere else to get the respect that he's looking for? Right? And most of us end up rinyaka go kenyenyefaja and just camouflage into some small role and not, anger anyone. No.
Yeah.
And it's an abortive mission.
Yeah.
Trying to keep a firstborn daughter quiet is an abortive mission because we're here to rule. We are here to run bloodlines. And I'm not saying it in a boastful way. It's our office. But I hope and pray for a day where even the husbands will get to understand us.
Because it's one thing to realize yourself in your office.
Yes.
And it's another thing to now take that realization in the office to the people that you are going to live with,
Yeah.
to the people that are going to handle you.
Yes.
So like you say, one day husband needs to understand what a firstborn daughter is, what they come with.
Yeah. I mean, we said at the podcast that a firstborn daughter is worth 100 men, right? And it's still a question mark because men are saying, what does it take for me to be 100 men? Because I've got a wife who's a firstborn daughter and I feel like I cannot handle her.
Yeah.
And someone needs to teach men how to handle firstborn daughters. We're still debating at the office if we have capacity to do that for men that are married to firstborn daughters.
Firstborn daughters.
Because the firstborn daughters we are helping heal are still going back to the men that don't know how to handle them.
Yeah.
They've still made the decisions of marrying narcissists. Because the truth is that most firstborn daughters have attracted narcissistic men into their lives because of their own wounds. And one of the things we are doing is saying, forget the narcissist. Don't focus on the fact that your husband is a narcissist.
Yeah.
Focus on the fact that you've got wounds that you are vibrating that attract the narcissist. Let's heal that.
Sure.
Because you will find women on your couch, promise, who come here and say, Andiraso, I'm better. And every time we are watching and we are listening, we see the red flags, we hear the red flags. From the start. And we keep thinking, but when
yes. How did you stay for that long?
And we all know, believe me, they will tell you, I saw the red flags, but my fear of abandonment was telling me that, no.
He's going to get better.
He's going to get better. No, but also I don't want to be alone. The other day I was thinking about Father's Day, and I was thinking about how most of us are going out and saying men are deadbeat fathers, right? What most of us women are not talking about is the fact that we never discussed having children with this man.
Was a trend?
Mailing trend. Let me give you an example. When I had my late daughter, I was in first year university, okay? It was my first real relationship. And in this relationship, I looked at this guy and I thought, my abandonment wound, the wound that says I'm not enough, I'm not chosen, I can't keep a man, sat me down and said, so what else can we do to make sure this guy
Yes.
And remember, I was 19 years old. I didn't decide this with all wisdom.
No.
No. It was my wounds having meetings with me. I felt pregnant. Beginal distinction here, LO. I knew iPhone.
Yeah.
I knew that very well. Right? But what did I do? I fell pregnant.
You went ahead.
And the man spent the rest of that child's life really deadbeat because the poor guy was just passing.
Sure.
Nakamogora. And as a matter of fact, when we say men are deadbeats, we are not, those of us who've done that, we are not different from a person who went to a sangoma and nyaka maratisho. The difference is that when a maratisho wagago had eyes and a mouth to feed. And it failed.
Yeah.
Before you blame a man for having a child and not taking care of the child, admit gore o dirile moratisho ka re ga mpa yago. Moratisho wa tla and didn't work. And the man still moved on as he intended to. And when now you're wearing a badge of mother of 4, you're wearing a badge as single mother.
Of that you're already deadbeat.
Already deadbeat. Happy Father's Day to myself. Your wounds. And you know, whenever that happens, we are always tempted to say it's the man. But when you point, the other fingers are looking at you. And one of the things that I would really like us to do, especially as firstborn daughters, is to say, what did my wounds say to me? What did anxiety say to me? What did shame say to me? That made me to think I can go into someone else's house and claim their husband. Because my wounds have said to me, I'm not enough for a man to give me full of himself. So, konyaka wa promise. Kakadiela gona mo. O tla mpona ka nyaka go mpona. Because deep down, I don't believe that a man must give me all of him because where's my father? My own father had me and did not think that I was enough for him to raise fully and went to raise another family somewhere else. And that's the love I know.
30-piece job.
30-piece job. And then jiggy, we've got women that we want to call home wreckers. But those are just wounded girls that only know part-time love from men.
Can you use a trend?
I should get trendy, it's fine. Yeah, but the trending must be for nation building. Because this is a national crisis.
Yeah.
If you see the amount of things that are happening, not just in marriages, but in families, bo koko, bo rakgadi, bo mamogolo, I wish we could have bigger dialogues about this. Because firstborn daughters are the same rakgadis ba re reng ke baloi. The other day, some lady was telling me they were at a family function and ngwana butiare lost the phone and they tried to call her. She tried to call her and then she found the phone. And when she found the phone, it was written Moloi. And I said, wait, hold on. Why? What got you guys here? Because here's another thing. There are so many family secrets that the generation Yabuku Kwarina is prepared to die with that are infiltrating themselves into the generation of our mothers, our generation. Unokera gole awkward amongst cousins, and you don't know why. Yeah. You and I are fine as cousins. As ngwana malumi, we are fine. But your mother has been abused by my mother, who is a firstborn daughter, a rakhadi in this family. Yes. And no one ever talks about it because our grandmother came with this rakhadi into this marriage and wants to protect her. And so the rakhadi gets away with everything. And so the makoti of the brother has resentment, heightened resentment towards the rakhadi. And then you guys have this silent tug of war that you don't even know where it comes from. The grandmother's going to die soon.
Yes.
Or is dead. You guys don't have emotional regulation to sort it out. And increasingly even the economy is saying, "Are duleng hot in re tswalele
Yeah.
mabota."
Mabota.
Ge re so tswalela mabota, we are now a generation that has nothing and no one
No identity.
and no identity. And that's why it's so important for firstborn daughters to understand their role. Ne? And when you understand your role as a firstborn daughter, you will stop trying to get a thank you from your brother's child for taking her to school. Because you would understand that you were playing your role. You won't compete with the younger sister about your brother's children. Because you will understand that I'm doing this because ke kgadi ya ka mo. You will also understand gore my role requires me, even your finances will change.
Yeah.
Once you understand that now I have a contract with my bloodline to make sure that my father's house is standing. You'll find, excuse me, to make sure that my father's house is standing, you will walk in a better position even financially.
Yeah.
In a marriage, they say that we've got a dual role. You've got a role in your father's house and you've got a role
In your house.
in your house. Most of us don't know how to handle that. Ba re ko ba re bushetša ka borena. Because most men you will hear will say, this girl, na ke understand gore ba sa mfi yena completely because everything that happens ka gabo, ba bitša nna, ba bitša yena. Right? Ke kgadi e kgolo.
Mamogolo.
Ke mamogolo. Ke rakgadi ya bana.
Yeah.
Ge ngwana chata, ba reng? Ba re rakgadi ya ngwana tla o rete ngwana.
Kile dinama.
When a man then says, I want to cut that off, o sa ya ga geno.
Ke a spela mo jaanong.
Ke sepele ke bolela gae.
Yeah.
Even the contract I made with my bloodline will speak against that marriage.
100%.
Will speak.
Before I even leave as a firstborn daughter,
Yes.
my people will make me leave. I'm not a firstborn, I'm just saying.
Yes.
My people will make me leave the marriage.
Yes.
Because it doesn't serve
It doesn't serve
the purpose.
the purpose of, and we're not saying people must have one leg come, one leg come. You need to understand it and navigate it better. You don't need to divorce.
No, if you understand, I always say, if you really understand your office, like you call it,
Yeah.
if your husband understands your office,
Yeah.
they will also see that it's not this or that. I'm just balancing, helping my parents, and also I'm very much present.
So then you
in
need
my
a man who's
marriage.
secured.
100%.
When they're saying
1,000
you need 1,000 men, that's what you need. A man who's secured, who understands gore ke nyetše kgadi e kgolo.
Kgadi ya nyakiwa every
Kgadi
day.
ya nyakiwa.
Yeah.
I cannot, because I changed my surname, cannot now ba re ba nkhathile off ka gešo. No, but the responsibility is on you to set boundaries.
Le gae.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere. And that's where it goes wrong for us. We don't know how to set boundaries because also we are wounded. Remember, I've got a mother wound.
People pleaser number one.
I've got a mother wound.
Yeah.
There's a certain way I relate to my mother. And because I've got a mother wound, I don't know how to set boundaries with my mother. And inherently,
Yeah.
without intending to.
Yeah.
I have a father wound. Whether my father raised me or he was here, I still have a father wound. Some of us were raised by fathers who we were mothering. Firstborn daughters mother their fathers.
Sure.
And by the time you get a husband, you already have mothered this old man.
You are tired.
And it's part of your office, by the way.
Sure.
Remember I said when a firstborn daughter is born, they bring rest to their father's house. It's part of your office. But when you don't understand it, you will carry that mothering with you and then mother your husband. And no man wants to be mothered.
I know.
No. And look, we've seen it now that I'm self-aware. A guy will say to me, this woman, I'm saying to her, I can book for myself. Wait. She's trying to operate in what she knows how to do. We were parentified. I don't know how to exist in a relationship, whether it's a marriage, whether it's a friendship, whether it's even at the office, without being a parent.
Yeah.
My first leadership role that I knew at 10 years old was one of being parentified. One of putting myself at the back foot of everyone else and making sure that you guys are fine as friends and I'll eat last in a friendship. I'll pay the bill as a friend. And I don't even know how to receive help. I don't know how to receive compliments. I don't know how to receive gifts when that time comes.
Yeah.
So even in a marriage, I don't know how to not mother someone. And they then go to people who will receive their masculine energy, because men do have masculine energy. Reina, ours is just, how do we taste like men?
Sure.
They will go to those that taste like women because our masculine energy is too much.
It's too much.
Yeah.
Let's go into your event. I've seen
Okay.
people are saying, when is the next event?
Ooh,
Yo, I'm like, people want the event.
it's necessary.
It's necessary. How did it go? What was it really about?
Yeah, sure, it was powerful. So that event happened on the 7th of June, and we are planning a national tour and a Southern Hemisphere tour. Yeah, because it's necessary. I think firstborn daughters have been muted and mutilated for the longest time.
Can I just
And-
come in there? Ne?
yeah.
When you speak about firstborn daughters, you're not necessarily speaking about a child that came first. You can, and as you're speaking, I'm reflecting on my own family.
Yes.
Like firstborn, papa kali mamaga is my
Yeah.
brother.
Yes.
However, the firstborn daughter is my sister that turned 40.
She's the
Everything that
eldest
you are
daughter.
explaining is her.
Eldest daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, we've got something called the eldest daughter syndrome.
Okay.
Yeah. That's where you find that we are people pleasers. We have no boundaries. We are parentified.
Yes.
We have wounds for days, abandonment wound, rejection wound, all of those things. So, and just before I go into the event, one of the other things we've done is at the office is that we have created resources for firstborn daughters.
Okay.
I have gone through multiple people looking for help. A random psychologist is not going to help a firstborn daughter.
Ooh.
A firstborn daughter needs a person or a therapist that understands their wounds. Deliverance ministry. A firstborn daughter needs a deliverance minister that understands what it means to be the front line of a bloodline. What kind of demons plague a firstborn daughter? What kind of contracts are at place for a firstborn daughter? We have coaches that we have put together. Do you know that there's a coach called a narcissistic abuse recovery coach? Because most of us firstborn daughters are recovering from the narcissistic abuse from our mothers, the narcissistic abuse from our own spouses, and even our siblings.
Sure.
And sometimes what we need to do is recover from that
First.
to own our power. We've got parenting coaches, but you parent differently when you've been parentified. And so a random parenting coach is not going to be able to help you. So we've created that resource and to just help people, especially firstborn daughters. And so the event that happened was called the Inner Child Healing Retreat. And the inner child healing is a very... It's a concept that people are still toying around with and people don't know much about. And really, it is saying we are trying to heal the things in you that are trapped, that happened to you in childhood, that are now making you to hyperventilate. The parentification happened to you as a child.
Yeah.
You are still parentified even today. You will not stop parentifying the man. You'll not stop being a parent to that man unless you have healed the childhood wound that made you parentified. The camouflaging, the people-pleasing, the self-sacrificing, all of it is you trying to come to terms with the needs of the inner child. That inner child needs to cry. Because as firstborn daughters, we were taught that we must be easy. You know when you are saying, no one go easy man.
Yeah.
My mother always says that, easy.
Yeah.
And when you really look into it, what did it really cost for you to be an easy child? It took you to learn that I don't voice my needs for me to be an easy child. I don't bother other people for me to be an easy. That's a trauma. That's a wound. And that inner child is still the same inner child that is in the office right now saying, I'm not going to ask for a promotion because I don't want to bother anyone. You will be stagnant.
Here.
You'll be stagnant for 5 years in a position because your inner child is saying, we are easy.
At least we've got a job.
At least we've got a job. your inner child in a marriage is self-sacrificing. You always talk about your journey of how you moved from being a content housewife to finally renegotiating your contract in your marriage to being an independent wife.
Yeah.
That's something people are not able to do and still stay in their marriages.
Yeah. It's not easy.
It's
though.
not easy.
It's a whole conversation
help.
as well.
You need help. And the conversation needs to be guarded, and the conversation needs to be in a way that still allows you to coexist. Because the man met you as a woman that didn't really have ambition. You did have ambition. You just had learned that men don't want people that want too much.
Yeah.
So I'm going to behave like I don't want too much so that he can think I can be a good wife. But as time goes on, you become resentful. Wa emisha tlhogo. To say, "Mara nna gape le nna ke nyako ba le ya ka tšhelete." And then there's a tug of war in the house. And so what we are doing here when we are saying we are healing the inner child, we are getting angry again. The anger that we were not allowed to express because we are easy, because we are disciplined, because we don't even have time. The last born is crying. We're now getting angry again. We're now crying. And it's not a process of blaming the mother, blaming the siblings. No. We are crying. We are taking responsibility away from other people and we're giving it to ourselves.
Yeah.
And we're getting away from the people that we need to heal from. It's such a sacred space where, as firstborn daughters, we just coexisted in a place where, a human biggest need is the need to belong.
Yeah.
We sat in a space as 30 women and we all knew that we belong here. No one is judging us.
These are my people.
These are my people. We understand each other. And as a result, we are going to, no one is judging me for saying, you know what, guys, actually,
I hate my mother.
I hate my mother. You know what, I think my brother is just nonsense, right? And cry. And no one is going to say, Ulelang. That's not a big wound.
Yeah.
If you go to TikTok, you will see that there are people that are saying in the comment section, they are saying, what about us middle children?
Oh my God.
That's the problem.
That's
the problem.
That's the problem.
Yes. We are trying to heal from middle children.
Yeah.
Go find your own safe space.
Yeah.
Right? Because even the middle children and the last ones have been taught to take things from us.
Yeah.
They
The very same way you're trying to say, guys, this is us, they like, Lirina.
And you see it in the subtle ways.
Yes.
Can we just, as firstborn daughters, just breathe? But we're not breathing to be victims of circumstances. We are breathing so we can re-enter a place of territory.
You see, if there's one thing, we've run out of time, if there's one thing that I have realized in me healing, finding myself, and just understanding myself is that it's truth. And I've seen when I was making branded bars for you, your tagline or your slogan is healing happens at the frequency of truth.
Yeah.
If as a person, you will face the truth
yourself.
Yes. Sit down with the truth.
Yeah.
That's where healing will start.
Yes.
That's where you'll start to understand that. How did I get here?
Yes.
Like, really, how did I get here?
Red flag
Yes.
And this is who I really am.
Yes.
And it's not the man number one, man number two, man number three. I'm the common denominator and I'm the problem and I need to heal.
Yes.
So we're going on a tour.
Yes, please tell us about it as we wrap.
We're going on a tour. The whole country is roaring and saying we need this healing space. We're going to have posters out of dates in different provinces.
Okay.
And in this particular retreat, we had people that came from Lesotho, Botswana, Eswatini as well. And we are putting out a clarion call for people in those areas to actually raise up their hands to host this space.
Wow.
And we will come, even in the country.
Yeah.
I think the biggest cost center for this kind of thing is the venue and feeding people,
Yeah.
right? And if we can, if we as firstborn daughters who have businesses can actually come together and build our own economy, that would actually be great.
Yeah.
Because as we've got a lot of resources, we are CEOs, we are leaders, and so the clarion call is that we have firstborn daughters that say, "My hand is up. I want to help my fellow sisters to create a space where they can heal." Would appreciate that,
Yeah.
and have people that come and say, "Look, I don't know what my wounds are, but I want to really go into them and understand them." And if you don't even know where to start, come to our office.
Yeah.
As a legacy coach, I'll sit with you and we go into a 360 degrees of your life
Dissect you.
and dissect you and understand where it is that we need to touch. And we will help you with professionals that know and understand your wounds, and they'll be able to help you. And I think we'll heal a nation.
Sure.
We'll heal a nation. Yeah.
The job that you are doing is big.
Yeah.
It's very big, madam. And you are just touched.
The
You are
surface.
just touched the surface.
Yeah.
And it's a cry. You know how you simplify healing.
Yeah.
You know, you are simplifying healing.
Yeah.
You're saying come and heal.
Yes.
You know, when you speak about healing, people run away. I don't know.
Yeah.
But you are putting
healing
it
is
in a
hard.
way, it's hard. You know.
Healing is grieving.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
healing is grieving.
Yeah.
No one talks about the fact that when you heal, there's so much grief that comes with your healed self that can't now integrate themselves into the people around you that you need to now coexist with.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's hard.
It's hard. It's hard. And we're just going to leave your social details here.
Yes.
So people are going to hear about when the dates are coming out. They're going to see them.
Yes.
And please take this moment, go to her YouTube channel, to her
Yes.
podcast, hit that subscribe button.
Yeah.
Absolutely free.
Yes.
Button. It's absolutely free. Follow her across all the social media platforms. You're going to see them here. Even in the description box, I'll put the link so that it'd be easier for them to just click. And this is a movement that, I don't know.
It's a movement of the nation. I have a prophecy that our first Black female president will come out of this movement.
Please have it on camera. Screenshot it.
Our first Black female president will be a firstborn daughter, and they will come out of this movement that we're creating right now. CEOs and chairmen of industries will come out of this movement. Because when we are healed, we'll operate in our office correctly.
Yeah.
We'll lead multitudes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Said the president herself.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much, my dear friend, for always making time. I was in Bali when we were doing the event, and I was like, I want to have the conversation on my people that did not see you or know about what you do, need to know about what you do.
Yeah, and thank you. Thank you
so much.
Thank you for this platform.
Yeah.
And I hope that women that come to this platform can actually get to a place where they come and talk about their contribution to the things that happened to them. I'd love to see that day.
Okay. Ladies, those that came, I'm going to call you guys.
Let's have a reunion.
Yes, let's have a reunion, which is one thing that is very important for me. Like I said, it's truth. There is a big contribution to where you are. Like you contributed largely from where you are. Whether you are in shambles, whether you are in a GPV, you know, it sounds harsh.
Yes.
But it's the truth.
It's the truth.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll see you in the next episode. From myself and Kanye, it's Love and Light. Go and subscribe, follow her, check her pages, hit that like, hit that follow, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.